Welcome to the 73rd edition of the Pro Wrestling Zone. I am your new Majestic Champion of the World.
Took you long enough.
Tiger Height with the former champion, Peanut Gallery. Anyway.
I like how he introduced me, but yes, for the first time since October 25th of 2020, this little whatever right here, he finally won a freaking belt.
All right, let's not scream into the mic, Peanut Gallery. I need to keep these things on there. Hold on.
You know what?
There we go.
I do what I want.
All right, there we go. So
I do what I want.
No, you're fine. All right, anyway, so let's talk about news. So we're going to do the white elephant in the room. We're going to talk about this deal with Peacock and the network. Now,
Peacock.
Yes, so if you are an international fan, you will not be affected by this deal. But if you're in the United States, you will. The WWE Network, as an entity in the United States, is going to be moved to Peacock for 5 years.
Right.
And it's $1 billion deal.
Nice.
$1 billion. I think it's like $200 million a year.
Yes.
It's insane money.
Yep.
Now, obviously, this is NBC Universal. There's a lot of ramifications with what this means.
It's about how ESPN is no longer going to mention them in anything.
ESPN.
Because they're butthurt little
Right.
bitches.
ESPN Sports are no longer going to be covering WWE because of this, and they cover them a lot. CBS is actually thinking about doing the same thing.
Right.
Now, what does this mean for the partners? Now, obviously, this is going to be different because Raw and NXT air on USA Network, which is owned by NBC Universal.
Right.
Obviously, at this point, they could say that Raw and NXT are going to be exclusive to Peacock and go off of the network to make room for the stuff from
NBC Sports.
Now, keep in mind, people, this deal does not start until March. March 21st is going to be the first pay-per-view, Fastlane, that's going to be airing on Peacock.
Right.
But the first moment of this deal is going to be March 18th. There have been some questions that I've seen, and I believe that Dave Meltzer and the people at F4W did answer them very well.
Yeah.
If you have gift cards for the network, use them now.
Right.
You cannot use them after March 18th.
Right.
Like, at all.
Right.
And also, a thing that you could do on the network that you cannot do on Peacock is pause, rewind, live pay-per-views. You cannot do that. It's the same thing what they do with soccer.
Oh, I see.
With Premier League.
Oh.
So it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
You can do it once it's available on replay, and it's going to be available on replay the next day.
Oh, okay.
So if you're watching a pay-per-view, Fastlane, and moving forward for the next 5 years, if you live in the United States, you have to commit. Yep.
Right, you have to commit to the pay-per-view.
Right. Peanut Gallery and I never have run into that issue for the most part. I think we did it a couple of times.
Maybe, yeah.
Right. So
but most of that was when we were on replay anyways.
Yes.
So it doesn't really matter.
So I think it's like, 140,000 hours of content.
Yeah.
There are going to be some things that are not going to be on the Peacock deal, like some documentaries and whatever. But other than that, it's moving on there. So people, if you have gift cards, if you really like the network, I would say get Peacock, because at that point, then you can get The Office, any NBC show you can basically get on demand.
Right.
And guess what? This is going to be commercial free for the same price.
Right.
If you want commercials, it's $5.99.
Right.
Actually, no, it's $4.99.
$4.99, yes.
So it's actually going to be $5 per month if you want to deal with commercials. But if you want commercial free, it's the same thing. But then you also get like a ton of other content.
Right.
Peanut Gallery, what do you think about this? Like, is this like is this big? Do you think this was the right call?
Yeah, it was. they've been exploring this for the past 3 years.
Right. And what do you think with SmackDown on Fox now? Because
they're going to write out the SmackDown contract on Fox, but I don't think Fox is going to renew.
No, that was a guarantee, and I think WWE was planning on them not doing that based on certain results.
Remember how last year they were thinking about putting all the pay-per-views on ESPN Plus?
Right.
Remember that?
Right.
So they've been exploring something like this for a long time.
That's correct. I didn't think about that. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. That was last year, and then the pandemic happened, of course.
Right.
That was last year, actually about this time. That's why ESPN Plus is so. That's why ESPN is so pissed.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They're losing out on that sweet revenue.
Right.
That captive audience that now is going over to Peacock.
Oh yes. And Peacock is definitely investing in it. And obviously, it's NBC Universal. They have the money. Don't think they don't have the money, because they most certainly have the money.
Right.
And obviously, WWE has a great relationship with NBC.
Right.
So it wouldn't be a bad idea. Anyway.
Let's move on to some other news.
Jesus Christ, I had a couple of burps.
Because we're almost 6 minutes in. We've talked about one thing.
I know. It's a big one. Come on.
Well,
Roderick McMahon III. He is the only sibling of Vince McMahon, and he passed away last Wednesday at age 77.
Yes, he woke up dead.
Yes. So the cause of death is unknown. And yeah, no, that's somewhat severe. I guess McMahon took it quite hard as well.
Yeah, he's been missing in action for a few.
Yes, no, that's the reason too. Yeah,
least,
that's the reason too, because Rod died. He was really close with his brother. So AEW Revolution has moved dates to Sunday, March 7th. This is the first Sunday pay-per-view for AEW.
Ooh, interesting. Mm-hmm. Any reason for that?
No.
Okay.
There is no particular reason.
I assume
to what I heard is that they're playing the field. They're seeing what's going to be happening.
Right.
They're not 100%.
Right.
So,
and then, of course, they have to deal with one particular celebrity schedule whose name is Shaquille O'Neal.
Right. Obviously, that match has not been confirmed. It's pretty much been confirmed. Anyway, Chris Jericho has finally responded to Jim Cornette's extremely harsh criticism of him. Jericho donated $40,000 to the Trump re-election campaign, and also talking about his physical physique.
Right.
I do not like Jim Cornette. I think he really kind of hits below the belt.
Oh yeah, Jim Cornette's kind of an ass.
Right. He called him. He denounced their friendship and called Chris Jericho a filthy human being. Jericho,
Jim Cornette, you've always been a filthy human being.
So. Jericho basically responded to this. I've been told that Jim Cornette and his sidekick, who is exactly his sidekick, continue.
His sidekick? Are you talking about his left or his right hand?
Right. No, actually, it's the rape victims from his wife.
Oh, okay.
So, they've continued to brutally bury me and everything that I do and say. My response to this is, have at it. You're entitled to your opinions, and I'm honored to provide content that helps you pay the bills. Best of luck to both of you. And Jim Cornette was trying his best to come back. I actually listened to it today, but he just sounded like a pissed off little bitch because he was just owned. Much. I'm sorry, Jim. I have respect for you as a person and what you've done in the industry. Actually, I don't have respect for you as a person. What you've done in the industry. I don't have respect for you as a person. You're a vindictive little shit, and it's clear that you're just butthurt.
Oh, yeah. He's a little butthurt.
Right. If Jericho invests himself into this company...
Trying to hold on to any little bit of relevance that you have in this industry.
Right, and you want to do with Jericho because Jericho is on a big television show that you don't like. AEW is not for everybody, and Jericho definitely should not be wrestling as he should. His last 2 episodes with Alliance Alt have been extremely bad, and I'm at least going to admit that. He needs to change his style a little bit.
Yeah.
But Jericho is limiting his wrestling acumen. I think he's good for the product. And I'm sorry.
He's like halfway on his way out anyways.
And I'm sorry, Jimmy Boo. Hate to tell you here that it's not going to go back to the 70s. Right. Wrestling is a forward motioning product. Maybe we'll do a show on that.
Right.
Because we've seen company after company try to do this whole, let's go backwards to the only thing. The only company that I've actually seen this kind of work was the NWA.
Right.
To a point. They did
And oh boy, if you saw the NWA's roster right now, they are butchered to
Well,
fuck.
okay, they just haven't been doing shows, and they let the contracts run out. That's
Right.
whatever. That's a different point.
Right.
They were doing well. They were getting good numbers, and it felt old, but it still had some nice young flair in there, which I really enjoyed. But it's not going to go backwards. It never does.
Right.
And if people try to do that, then they're fucking insane.
Right.
Anyway, let's talk about the Superstar Spectacle, which we were going to watch.
Yeah,
but,
we were, but change of plans. We didn't end up watching it. But let's talk a little bit about Superstar Spectacle.
Yes, so it was received very well.
Okay.
And it by the producers of the show and heads of WWE and the network in India. So it's looking good all the way around.
Nice.
The plan was to tape over a number of days to give the younger stars a bit of a safety net and reshoots where needed, which they never had to do actually.
Right.
WWE intended to do the show live in tape, but obviously they did it in pre because they were just scared of the new talent. But the new talent, I guess, did very well.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy about that. Maybe we will do something with the Superstar Spectacle at some time or another, but
I feel like this might have been a one-off thing.
Right.
I'll have to see. NXT India has not been confirmed as of right now.
Now, if they do NXT India, we'll do the first show on it. We knew. We did the UK one because they already established a championship with a tournament. Right, and that's why we did that one.
So we might watch the tournament to crown the inaugural.
If they do it. This one was just a tester, and what I'm seeing nothing but good things.
Yeah.
So very happy about that, by the way. Several NXT UK signings have been officially announced. They officially signed Miyaku Satumi, Tony Gill, or Tony Cage, from England, and then Lucky Kid, or I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce that name, I'm sorry, and Bailey Matthews. Now, Bailey Matthews is very important because he is the son of William Regal.
Ah,
yes.
Interesting.
Yes, so that's a fairly big signing, and I think that this is something that NXT UK needs. And they have confirmed that Miyaku is going to be facing Kaylee Ray at some point in time for the women's champion. Yes, thank you. Now, it is reported that one match has been finalized. We don't know, obviously we do. I think we may or may not know right now, but Roman Reigns will be defending the Universal Champion, and it's not Shinsuke Nakamura.
Well, yes, we knew that.
I am not happy with this decision.
He obviously didn't win the Rumble. And so...
well, based on who won the Rumble, I think that there was still a chance, but I don't know what they're going to do now because that was a clear choice.
Right.
Now, Shinsuke did not have to win the Rumble to get this opportunity.
There's an Elimination Chamber and Fastlane in between, so...
There's
always that possibility.
Absolutely, yeah. They're probably going to do a chamber to determine that number one contender.
Depending on what the Rumble winner decides to do.
Right, and we'll probably know ahead of time just so they can promote a couple of months ahead of time.
Right.
But we'll talk about that later. The Disney Channel is going to be doing a series featuring Blue Demon Jr. playing a version of himself.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this last week.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, did I mention that he's actually thinking about running for mayor of Mexico City?
No.
Yes, so he's thinking about doing that, but... Gesundheit. The big caveat is he wants to do this without revealing his face.
Ah, interesting.
How unbelievable would that be? This would be the full masked politician in the history of the world.
Nice.
Number one, he's still talking about it. He has officially done the regulations. He's done the promotion for I think it's Demon for mayor. And it's like, this is Blue Demon Jr. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually was elected.
Right.
So,
kind of like another masked wrestler that we all know and love.
Absolutely. Anyway,
Who also showed up tonight.
Yes. We will talk about that. WWE has filed a lawsuit against the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services.
Hooray.
This was put in on Tuesday, January 26th, and obviously, the Immigration Authority has filed the documents on behalf of WWE for the lawsuit. The nature of the lawsuit is currently sealed to the public. But speculation is that WWE is not able to get the talent or employees into the United States that they want because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And obviously they want certain people in the whatever. Now,
right.
Obviously this is they have not filed any kind of thing. They have 60 days to respond to the lawsuit filed. The United States Immigration Services have 60 days to do this. So records indicate that pleading must be filed on March 27th, with discovery completed by January 8th.
Okay.
So this is a very rudimentary system right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to know, but we'll keep up with it. It's still a fairly big lawsuit by WWE to go after the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services.
Right.
And then I do want to talk about this a little bit more. I know this is going to be a really long news. There's a lot going on here.
Long news week.
Right. Officials from 2K were at the Royal Rumble doing voiceovers.
Oh, really?
And possible roster confirmation for their next game tonight.
Nice.
They were there. They did voiceover work for wrestlers. What does this mean? Obviously, we're going to have a game. But when is this going to be released?
Do you think... No, hold on. I want to talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
So, remember that effect that was there tonight?
Right. Also, wait.
Do you remember that there was
Yeah, no, I was going to say this. They were expected to be scanned for future installations for the next edition of the series. So they were virtually scanned tonight.
But do you think that the way the background was had a little bit to do with that?
Oh, maybe. We'll talk about that here in a minute.
That blurry background, do you think maybe had a little bit to do with that?
There's a possibility. There really is, because then they would have enough of a roster to where they can get some things as they're coming out. Yeah. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, NJPW has finally announced the date of the match. Jon Moxley will defend the United States Heavyweight Champion against Kenta on February 26th at New Beginning USA 2021.
Nice.
We don't know the rest of the card, but that is the match.
So AEW's going to let Jon Moxley defend the title on U.S. soil.
Yes.
Good.
This is going to be on U.S. soil because obviously it's a new beginning in the United States. They're thinking about doing the majority of the card with New Japan Strong guys, which I think would be great for the product. But yeah, that's going to be the main event pretty much. Thank God. Anyway, I swear to God, we talk about this every other goddamn week. But once again, another wrestler and their significant other are being harassed by an individual.
Oh boy, who is it now?
It is Alexa Bliss and her fiance.
Oh, I heard about this one.
Yes. So what
a douchebag.
So this fan has been tweeting that they are currently married, and they were married under duress. So Alexa Bliss and Ryan Cabrera are not only married right now, which they're not, but Alexa Bliss was forced to marry him.
I don't think that's the case.
Yes. Oh, can you
yes.
turn her off, please? Go. Sorry, our Alexa's going off because we keep saying her name. Also, can you mute her?
Yeah, I'll mute her.
Thank you. Sorry, folks. Hold on. Is it good? Yeah, you're good. All right, thank you. Anyway. Thank you. Anyway, so Alexa Bliss, so this individual said, "I'll be honest with you, okay? I've shown you pictures of his wife, and they're looking on being like, oh yes, you forced her to marry you by threatening her and her family. You're the bad guy. I'm the good guy who will do anything for Lexi. Thank you. Who do anything for Lexi because I put her first. Only you put yourself first." Now, unfortunately, Alexa responded because obviously this has been ongoing. Sir, once again, for the 1 millionth time, You do not know me. I do not know you. We have never spoken and we have never met. Stop making multiple accounts every time that I block you and stop harassing my fiance. I really don't know how many more times I can say this. Please move on. I have two things to say to this. This guy is an asshole. He's clearly a stalker.
He's also an incel, probably.
Exactly. Who obviously is infatuated with Alexa Bliss. I believe that Alexa Bliss was incorrect about responding to this person.
Oh, yeah. She should have gotten a lawyer.
Yes, Alexa. Like, I do not know you, and I do not know your fiance, but once again, as a public figure who does not know the reach of these people, but I've even experienced this. It happens when you're a public figure. Is an expectation. You ignore them, you block them, you move on. Unless they come after you like they did with Sonia, what else can you do?
Right.
They're going to continue to make accounts. They're going to continue to do this.
Right.
You have perpetuated it by responding.
Right.
I understand your frustration. I really, really do. But I feel like now it's going to get a million times worse.
Oh, yeah, it's just going to get worse.
It's just going to get absolutely worse based on this. People, I'm going to continue to say this until people get it through their thick skulls. Do not harass anywhere these people.
Don't harass anybody. Don't harass any public figures.
Right. Do not harass any public figures whatsoever on social media. I understand. You know, this was on Twitter, by the way. Twitter is a very person-to-person platform. It's very hard for somebody else to run your Twitter, which is why people go after them, which is why, you know, Donald Trump had a very different Twitter than his Instagram and Facebook. Right. Please. It's a double-edged sword here in a way. People, it's fine to be infatuated with somebody, but don't be this. Don't do this.
Right.
When they block you, kind of look at yourself and say, hey, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I don't have proof of this. Let me stop.
Right.
But
people don't know.
Right. But for Lexi, for her fiance, and for every other public figure, responding to these people is only going to make it worse for you. And this is something like... It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating on both ends. I don't want people harassed, and I don't want people harassing people. But when people do stuff like this, when you respond to them and when you continue, it just goes. This is the internet.
Right.
This is something that we have to experience. You're anonymous. You can do this. It's not hard.
Right.
These are free accounts.
Right.
That's all I have to say, Peanut Gallery. Do you have anything to add?
Nope, because I think you said a little too much. Anyways, when we get back, we're going to talk about the Maharaja.
Yes.